is episode 26. We have been discussing about the householders' duties. In the past episode, I would like to continue to cover a few more points. I would like to mention that I'm not trying to give an impression that wife or women are at fault because they are working. It is a joint responsibility, and husband is equally responsible for creating this situation in which wife may have to work. I don't think we want to blame each other why she has to work. Instead, both will take equal responsibility that wife does not have to work, and we are not trying to blame her for creating this situation, but husband and wife both are equally responsible. They can sit down and discuss that whatever our income is, we will try to live within our income as long as manageable. We may not have 5 bedroom house, we may have even 1 bedroom house. People don't have even one room house. So it is more important to have a small house and husband alone working and wife staying home and lovingly taking care of the family. When husband comes home, that she is at peace so she can talk peacefully, because husband, I'm sure, has gone through the traffic and lot of problems at job. It is not very easy to deal with outer world. It is not easy to earn money. So we have to sympathize with him also, that he has come through a lot of strain of 10 hours. And if wife is at peace, her very good posture would help the husband. But if both are irritable because of the job situation, then none can help. So there is a big benefit. And husband should, of course, certainly never pressure wife to work, because if he has pride and he wants a big bedroom, large house, or big cars, that should not be the cause that wife has to work for that. So husband will be equally responsible if wife has to work. As a matter of fact, it is husband's sole responsibility to support the family. This is normally the case. Unless he is handicapped, husband's sole responsibility to earn money to maintain his family. Now, we are not saying that he has to have $1,000,000. Whatever he is capable of, whatever he is trained, whatever his profession is, and as long as doing best and is not wilding away his money, whatever money he earns, the family must decide to maintain and manage their family life within that. They don't have to borrow money and they don't have to overspend. They just learn to manage whatever it is. There is no shame in living a simple life as long as it is based on our income, rather than we create a problem by artificially increasing our needs, which are not really the need, but it is just a pampering of vanity. So I want to make both responsible for wife to work. Wife should not work and husband should make sure that she doesn't work. Sometimes husband doesn't want her to work, but she wants to go out because she is tired in the house. That is again shows that if she is bored, there is something wrong, that she is not finding joy with children or her household duties as a wife. She ought to have been trained for that. That doesn't mean she doesn't go out and have little fun, that she has to be all day in the house. But it should not be an attitude that she has to go out 8 hours just to be out, because we don't like to be in the four walls. House is not a four walls. House should be a temple where we all should be happy. We have obligation, responsibility, and we should create an environment. Wife or mother is really the foundation of happiness. Without mother, house is no house. And so I think that we should all make such efforts that wife is at peace, or mother is at peace, she has opportunity to be happy, perform her duties, and not create artificially, again as I say, the situation where she has to work. We learn to get along with the income we have. This is necessarily true, and husband should feel equally responsible to make provisions. Now, we also said that in that particular case, we must control the expenditures and we should try to avoid all unnecessary expenditures if particularly our income is limited or we think it is limited. Limitation on income is an arbitrary limits. Nobody knows what should be the average. we don't want to worry about average, what others are doing. Whatever our income is good for us. That is the income. We don't care what others are earning. We have to learn to manage. And if we have more money, of course, Gita recommends that you save the money and help the poor rather than buy a new car, new curtains, or a new home or new clothes, because you still have an obligation to help the poor as a human being. So there should never be excess money for us to squander on our own lust and greed. No matter how much we are earning, there are always people in the world who need money, and if you are a billionaire, even then there is not enough for you to help. So we should always keep our life simple and just use as much as we need, barely, to keep healthy, to perform our duties, to remain healthy and raise children properly. But you don't have to send your children to, let's say, Stanford if you cannot afford, or Harvard if you can send to the state university and save that money and have some other child go to university. Imagine the blessings you get from that child and also from God. No wonder we have problems in life as we grow, because we never think, and therefore we never get the blessings of God because we are too much involved in our pride and vanity. So, if you really want to be happy, think that there is something you can do no matter what income you have. Whether you are earning 50,000 a year, 30,000 a year, or $1 billion a year, there must be money for you to help some poor person. Even if you have 50,000 or 30,000, you can say that, all right, 1% of my income or 2% of my income I can spare for some poor child who is nothing than God Himself. So, there is no excuse for us to have excess money. Whatever we have, we must give. And we must find some excess money. Maybe we spend less on our clothes, on our comforts, and our entertainment, and we can save as much money as possible. That should be our joy. Saints are saying that helping the poor should be your entertainment. It should be your joy. It should be your pleasure. It should be your peace. As a matter of fact, we will not find peace no matter how much we pamper ourselves and our children and our family. Unless we enlarge our family to make a universal family and as many people we can help as possible, then only you are going to find peace. Expect no peace and happiness if you don't help anybody. This is the law of the Gita and God. So I am really requesting that if you haven't done that, you have always spent on yourself, on your relatives. What you spend your relatives does not count as helping others, because that is your obligations and you are attached to them, and so you are helping. It is out of some expectations. So I'm talking about those people from whom you don't expect anything. They may not be able to help you back or even return your money, but you don't help for the expectation even to get your money back. Unless we do this, unless we treat other poor children like our own children, there is very little chance for us to be happy, and that is why today we have more pain in the family, more tension. Whether we know it or not, we have more health problems, and more health problems are due to mental pressure, and mental pressure is due to our vanity, and we don't understand the laws and the way we are living, and we have no blessing from God because we haven't done anything extra to please God. Our job is to please God. And what we are doing here is to trying to show you a way how you can save some time from soap operas to serve some poor who is, or nurse somebody who is in the hospital, or neighbor who is sick. You can always do that by saving the time. That is as good as helping. I'm not talking always about financially helping. Intellectually you can help, show somebody which college to attend, how to get scholarship, guiding people, showing a path, giving a ride, thinking of others. These are the things that householders are required to do. So I would say that we must control our expenditures. It is more important to control expenditures than worrying about more income. Because no matter how much income you have, if you don't control your expenditure, you will be always a beggar. And as a matter of fact, worldly people are never satisfied. No matter how much money they always want more. They want more business, they want more motels, more jobs, more stock marketing, there is no end to their satisfaction as to how much money will make them happy. So they are always engrossed, their head is always in the money and calculations, and thus they are neither happy themselves nor spending time with their families, and they are not even pleasing God. So this vanity that we have, this craze that we have, the lust we have for money, I think that we want to be careful. There is another thing where we waste a lot of money is in marriage of our children. There again we are so much social pressure, and we just spend money that is not quite necessary. Marriage ceremony, as Mahatma Gandhi said, could be very simple, and all the money we save from the marriage, imagine how many people you can help, and how much blessing that married couple will have, and how much happiness that married couple will get from God if they spend all the money that they could. I would say normally I have heard people spending as much as $50,000, some of them even more. As a matter of fact, nowadays there is a competition that which father spend more money on the marriage of their daughter or son than somebody else. How many sweets he gave, or how many clothes. All is a big show to show how rich you are, and you want to show the world. Most people you invite don't need to eat. They already have food problems, their stomachs are already overloaded, they need to fast. And those who have only bones left in India or in this country or in the world, children starving, those who need food, they are not getting. And you will be responsible that you have snatched away their food. Whether we know it or not, that is truth. So, but we never think of it because we have never been taught this. So, if we have never heard of this, then maybe you have heard now. At least you can restructure now, and God, of course, will always forgive us of what we have done in our ignorance. But this is no reason for us to continue this kind of vanity of spending money on marriages merely to show off. We don't think enough. I have seen people even going to India for shopping. I know from India to Singapore. The rich people are not thinking at all of the poor except their own social status. And I think that if one donkey has a better status than another donkey, is still a donkey. So this is what the saints are saying. So please be careful. You are not showing off another donkey how smart you are. You are still a donkey. Unless we turn to God, unless we please God, unless we follow this, there is no wisdom whatsoever, no matter what we think we are. We may think ourselves wise, but I think Gita is telling us control your food, control your income, control your talks, control your vanity, your entertainment, so that you will have your energy saved, which is all required to achieve our ultimate goal of self realization. I would want to touch another point about elderly people. It is unfortunate, according to our custom, the Vanprasthashram, or when we retire, we should have planned in our early stage to live a life of withdrawal so that we have the similar company, and that the people will be thinking of God and more devotional life, rather than again get involved in grandchildren and getting back to, we are going backward. So grandparents always attached to the grandchildren. It is one of the most pathetic situations for which God, we will not be able to answer God. That we were not satisfied in our own life with our own children, and now we are continuing with grandchildren and even great grandchildren. I think that this is a very unfortunate situation, very ignorant situation, and the fault will be that we were not trained right, and we think that we are loving our grandchildren, but we are merely attached, and we will be paying heavily because we are interfering in their life, and we are not performing our duty as we should be doing it. But supposing we have already made a mistake and elderly parents are with us, then of course it is our duty that we take good care of them. We should sacrifice our life because they have done so much for us. There is no question about not sacrificing our life for parents. They have sacrificed their life, and we should find no excuses whatsoever that they are burden to us. Otherwise, I think that parents are supposed to be God, and we should treat them as God. If they have made any error, it is for them to pay, but as far as we are concerned, as their children, we should do everything. We should feed them first before even we eat. And yet I don't know how many of us today in this world must be doing that we lovingly keep our parents and not send them into old folks' homes or in hospitals or old men's homes that they have where they can get food but not love of the children. I have met some of them and they miss the love of children, but the children, husband and wife, are working all day. They have no time to look after their own parents. It is really, I would say, a shameful situation for us to ever think that our mother or father in the same town is living in a hospital, and while we are too busy to even visit them sometimes. I have seen many cases like that. It is amazing what lust and greed can do to us, that we even lose our manhood, our mankind, our status as a human being. It is amazing that what Maya can do to us, that we don't even think what we are doing. So I would like to say that try to understand what we are talking about. Don't go after these false egos and status and degrees from colleges. It is nothing but a vanity. It is just the money that we are after. It is money that is greed, and greed is a gate to hell according to Gita. Lust and greed. What we really need, there is no harm in doing that. Now, sacrificing then, sacrifice is the goal. We will be coming that in chapter 3, Yagya as we call it. We are supposed to sacrifice our life. Wife is supposed to sacrifice her life for husband. Husband is supposed to sacrifice his life for wife, and parents are supposed to sacrifice their life for the children. As well as children are taught that they should be obedient and do everything to please their parents. These are the things that our ancestors have learned from experience, and we have unfortunately forgotten such beautiful relationships that would bring us love, that will bring us peace, that will bring us joy. That is what we have, but we have as a guidance in the Gita. But as Meera says, that how can you meet God? You have spent, she says, पांच पहर धंधे में बीते तीन पहर रहे सोई मनुष्य जन्म अनमोल पायो सो तै सब ही डार्यो खोई. You have such a beautiful human birth, unmold. There is no price you can put on this human birth. But what did you do? You spend 15 hours in the business. 5 pahar is about 5 times 3 is 15. There are 8 pahars in 24 hours. So, 15 hours you spend in your business or business related things. And the remaining 3, that is 9 hours, you were sleeping. You wonder what your life is, what you are doing with your life. Sleeping and earning. Even animals do that. Even they earn their living, but they don't make a big issue out of it. It is a necessity. While to us, it has become almost God or the goal. So she says, पांच पहर धंधे में बीते तीन पहर रहे सोई मनुष्य जन्म अनमोल पायो सोते सभी डार्यो खोय. You got the unmold, the priceless human birth, but you lost it. You just lost it completely, because as I am talking to you, what I am saying about husband and wife relationship and our responsibility, I think that we are losing our human birth. So we still have opportunity. We can still reconsider our life, and instead of start nagging our wife or husband or children or mutually nagging each other, let us try to love each other. Let us try to understand each other. We have an obligation. It is your duty. It is your dharma. It is your responsibility. You are not even obliging anybody. I think that not only this, you have to fulfill these duties as I have said, but after you have done this, you have got so much more duties yet, which I haven't even mentioned, is what the social duties, and the world requires your help. We all have an obligation to the society and the world. But we never come out of our own needs, our own obligations, so that we have time to even spend an hour with somebody who is sick in the hospital or who are living in slums. If we can do something for them, or if we can invite them to stay with us for a few years so they can study, if they cannot afford to go to school, all these things, we have always an opportunity if we look around. One thing I will certainly recommend, that don't please send money through religious organizations, no matter how big they may be, how honest they may be. They are all corrupt, and 90% of your money will be withheld in their own projects. They say something we do not know. They don't have to build the buildings and the temples. I would suggest that you spend your money directly to those who need it. It is your obligation to go to India or go to a neighborhood where people are poor, look into it, talk to the people, see their needs, talk to their mother and father, see their sickness, and then you directly give them in your hand. You cannot say that you have no time. If you have no time, you are in trouble. It is your duty to find time. It is your duty to find money, find time, and find energy to find the right person who deserves the help. So, sending checks will not do. Certainly never send to any organization. As a matter of fact, I might even tell you, don't even send to non-profit organizations. They make as much profit as anybody else, because those CEOs who are running these non-profit organizations mostly are using Lexus and Cadillacs. You probably do not know. This non-profit is only after what is left is non-profit, and nothing is left anyway after they spend in management. So, in my opinion, I personally feel that we don't need to go through institutions. They are after your money, and you, God does not want that. You can directly serve, and that is your obligation. It may take little trouble, but you must do it. There is no excuse, and if you find an excuse, then of course you are again a loser. And I am afraid you are doing double fault. First of all, your money that you have earned may not be legitimately earned, because all the extra money is not legitimate to begin with. And then you don't spend that properly by giving it to religious institutions in the name of religion. You don't know what they are doing. So I personally believe that each one of us should pay attention to help people. I know people might say that it's difficult and we have to do this and that. You may have your arguments. I have no problem with it. You have the freedom to choose what you want to do. We are only saying what we think is the best and reasonable solution. Uh, we, we have our own views, our beliefs. I am only putting in front of you some of the thoughts, some of my understanding, and my sincere hope that if you will listen to this and try a little bit of practicing what you do, what I have been saying, and see for yourself whether this has brought you some peace. I am sure it will, and certainly if you try it, I don't say without trying that it is not going to work. Unless you try, we cannot complain. You have tried everything else. Your life is just about, if you are 50 or 60 years old, your life is just about over, at least the most productive life. Now you will be dragging your feet, and some people even leaving because they are not dying. A very unfortunate situation, nothing to look forward. Life should never be like that. Until we die, we should have always something to look forward. There is always a hope. We should be always upbeat that there is so much yet that we can do, and then again we have God to realize, love to realize. We have so much joy coming to us, and yet we see that after 50 we think, well, I have nothing, nobody cares for me, children are gone, wife doesn't care, you have become old, you don't look so beautiful. All this nonsense because we have no goal, we live like animals, we just don't know any better. So I think that we can restructure our life, and we should not do what Mirabai has said, that wasting our 15 hours in the business, which I have seen. I have really seen people spending 15 hours in the business. They have so many motels, they have so many McDonald's, they are never satisfied how much business they have, or stock market or whatever it is. Even their wives are complaining their husbands are not giving them sufficient time. So uh, they just don't care for each other, even because they love money so much. This has happened, and that is certainly shame. We should not have this kind of situation. So I think we should listen to the saints, because they are always wishing us well. They think of us that we are their children, and they wish us well, and everything they say is for our good. They have no axe to grind, they have no angle, they have nothing to gain from you, they want nothing from you, you have nothing to give to them, because they belong to God. Meera would never want anything. She had everything and she gave. Buddha never wants anything from you. They have everything they want. So, saints never want anything from you. It is the religious teacher who may want you to follow and all that, but not the saints. So, and these are the advice of the saints. I hope your religious teachers are giving you this advice. If they, I will be very happy. But the saints certainly are giving, because they have no angle. They are not afraid that you will be hurt or you may not like it or that they might lose a customer. They are not after customers. They are not here to please you at the cost of your peace of soul. So they will tell you the truth. You may not like it, but they are not going to displease God. They are not going to lose God for your sake and for the sake of untruth. So whatever they are saying, whether we like it or not, it is for our good. And be sure, if anybody wants anything from you, he is not your well-wisher. If he wants you to join their club, their organization, become their member, they want money from you, he is not only a beggar, he is not your well-wisher. He is his own well-wisher. That is all he is doing. He is just pampering himself and he is nurturing his pride. So I would say ultimately that if anybody wants anything from you, he cannot advise you right. He will advise only what pleases you. And what pleases you, you know, to the worldly, nothing but lust and greed. So they will approve all the nonsense you might be doing, and you think you are doing religious practices, but in reality, your own experiences will tell you the pain and the misery you are suffering in life, that how come you are not finding peace and joy in spite of so much religious things you do. The reason is that you are not on the right path. You are not guided right, and you sometimes probably don't even deserve, because you have the same angle as they have. You want something for nothing also. You give them some dollars and you think that you will go to heaven. So you are trading something you have not seen, and it is just a mutual deception that we certainly want to be free from. So the only well-wisher we have is Gita, Meera or saints. Shri Krishna Bhagavan is the only well-wisher. You can imagine what Shri Krishna wants from Arjun. Shri Krishna Bhagavan himself is a king, if you think in that terms as far as money is concerned. He had a bigger kingdom of Yadavas than even Pandavas. So saints help us out of love, not because they want you to do what they like. You do what you want, they will give you the freedom, they will not threaten you, they will not confuse you, they will not mislead you, they will not count on your superstition and ignorance. They will honestly and truthfully tell you what is good for you. If that is what you want, if that is really you want to restructure your life, you are in good shape. Otherwise, you may continue as your choice, but the choice is not good, as you know. You can do better. And I think that the saints have come here to empower you back to your own powers, your dignity, your value, that you are part and parcel of God, and you don't need to feel that you are a slave or you have to roam in darkness all the time. Here you have the light, you have Gita, you have wisdom, and you don't have to believe anybody except your own self. You practice it and you see for yourself if this is true. If you don't think it is true, then don't worry about it. Just practice as much as you can, and that will be still better than what you may be doing now. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om